ultra exciting news, I actually recently visited Seoul, South Korea to visit my brother Nicholas Tasteless Plot. And get this. There are people who didn't know that he's my brother. I didn't know that this was true, but yes, that's right. Artosis is my mortal enemy, and Tasteless is my brother. So I went and visited him, and holy shit, Seoul is huge. Holy what the hell? How is a city that big? Okay, like, and I know you're probably like, what's the population? Like, just ignore that, all right? I don't care what you think it is, all right? It is unimaginably gigantic. It is far and away the hugest city I have ever been to by like multiple orders of magnitude. And I have been to Hong Kong, Singapore, New York multiple times. I've lived in Los Angeles for 7 years. Seoul dwarfs all of them. It makes New York City look like a bunch of pathetic shacks where people have to walk to a river with pails to get their water, right? It makes New York look so small. I mean, I don't know if, for any of you, just open up a map of like Los Angeles right now and look at downtown Los Angeles to Santa Monica to Long Beach. Imagine if all that was skyscrapers. It is just huge skyscrapers everywhere. Like, we got in a cab and we drove for an hour and there was nothing but skyscrapers the whole time. And then we looked on a map and we'd driven across like a fourth of Seoul. It's huge. It's huge. And some people are like, yeah, aren't you? What about Stockholm? You've been to Sweden? Dwarf Stockholm. Bam! Like, it is huge, the city. And there are so many people. And there's coffee shops everywhere. Everyone sells coffee. My brother took me to this souvenir shop where I got a little Yagami Light action figure thing. It was like all action figures and coffee. Was the two things that they sold. It was nuts. So that was weird. Like there's coffee shops everywhere. You know, in America, when people are like, oh yeah, they have like two Starbucks next to each other. In Korea, there's like a coffee shop on the first story with a coffee shop on the second story and the third story. And if you look down the alley, there's like 3 more coffee shops and one behind you on the street, and they're all full. Like, you can't even find a place to sit down. There's like so many people drinking coffee. Like, any of you who have never been to Seoul, you must go. It is insane. It is awesome. Once again, I've lived in downtown Los Angeles for like 3 years now, and LA proper for like 7 years. And it is so crazy going to Seoul. You actually live in a crazy huge city when you're in Seoul, which of course gives me a newfound respect for my brother. Let me just say this. This is actually completely unimportant to the daily, and of course, all you're asking about my new room setup, and just calm down, I'll tell you about that. But okay, so my brother in like 2007, my brother moved to Korea. All right, moved to Seoul, South Korea, with kind of a job, right? Working at Arirang TV, and eventually he would later be employed by Gom TV, but I don't think he knew that then. I don't know if this is right, but this is what I understand, right? He moved there with that was the most secure thing. He didn't know anyone. He didn't speak Korean, and there no one speaks Korean, or no one speaks English in Korea. Like, he had to find himself an apartment. He literally got off a plane and just looked around and was like, all right, let's do this. And he did. And now my brother speaks Korean. It's so weird when he's like, oh my God, it's so crazy to see my brother, Nicholas Tasteless Plot, speaking freaking Korean. I can't even speak Pig Latin very well. But my God, what a total badass. And he even showed me this unreal kick-ass Street Fighter 4 club where these people bought out a restaurant, like an underground restaurant, and then you go down there and it's just nothing but like Street Fighter 4 cabinets and monitors, and there's like tons of people there just playing Street Fighter 4, and they're all so good, I can't believe it. And of course, my brother plays Blanca, because that is the only Street Fighter 4 character that can build cannons. For any of you who don't know how Blanca works, Blanca's basically the obnoxious, cheesy character. He's always like, whoa, like doing his little slide thing, like bopping you as a ball and stuff. It's exactly the way that my brother went to play. Like, he sat down with Balrog, and he was like, this guy plays too straight up. I need something a little bit more cheesy. So that's right, Nick, take that. Ugh. Bam! Got him. Whew. So, without any further ado, we should probably do the Day 9 Daily. The show that is my bread and butter now that So now let's go ahead and do the Day 9 Daily, which is my bread and butter, because now I'm a full-time StarCraft 2 commentator who is known every now and again to trip over the shit out of his words, but not today. I rearranged my room, bought some furniture. As many of you are saying, I didn't do anything different with my room. I just rotated it 180 degrees. You can see that way back behind me is my old corner where I used to have my desk. You can see all the WCG paraphernalia. You can even see StarCraft. There's the posters. Yes, there's... And you can even see, uh-oh, look by my elbow. You see that little gray figure? You see this little guy? That's Manfred. It's my rabbit. It's my rabbit. It's my bunny. Fucking bunny, man. I love my bunny. How are we doing on time? Good, we've been going for 7 minutes. Wow. Wow, I love talking. Cool. So, I wanted to note just a couple of things. I'm severely jet lagged, so tomorrow will likely be a pre-recorded thing. I'm just going to record it and say go because I barely woke up in time for this thing because right when I was getting ready to go to bed, a bunch of people came home with questionable levels of intoxication, all ready to play Rock Band at maximum volume. So I didn't really get to sleep that much. But we're going to do a daily today. I still haven't re-recorded 304, which was an amazing daily. It will occur probably over the weekend, but we shall see, pending jet lag. And now let's talk only about StarCraft. Let's just forget everything kick-ass that went on. I'll share you more kick-ass adventures that occurred within the last 2 weeks. But for now, let's dive into Terran versus Terran.